Good afternoon, ma'am. This is my report about the philosophers of education, Harold Ragg and Alice Caswell. So, Harold Ragg, curriculum should develop the whole child, it is child-centered. So, if we call a child-centered, it's all about the child on how to learn by their own. Like in the K-12 program, our teacher on our teacher and during of the high school days on the math, they tell or teach us small detail about how to solve the problem on math. She cannot tell the full detail on how to solve it because have a reason she have a reason that in the K-12 curriculum the students must learn how to solve it by their own or by the group, and the teacher can explain it after answering the the problem. She tell that it more challenging if we can solve it by our own or by our group mates. And also child centered, we experience also the role playing. It is effective because we can communicate or we learn something in the different subjects, like in the Araling Panlipunan we learn how to manage buying foods because on during an our role playing, our topic is economics, and we learn also how to experiment in science, what are the velocity, Newton's law, and other subjects that about of the child centered. So, with the statement of objectives and related learning activities, curriculum should produce outcomes. So, in our teaching, so sa ating mga na-experience then sa ating klase about in the curriculum, it is important the objectives. It is important the objectives because this is one of the important in making a lesson plan or the foundation of our teaching. Without objectives, we cannot learn, we cannot start how to teach because objectives is so in the objectives it is important the cognitive psychomotor and affective. Without three, we cannot start the lesson plan, and we cannot start our class because that is one of the reasons how to teach. Then it also learning activities. We must put an learning activities on our lesson so we can know what are the outcomes on our class. So in the outcomes, we must know what are the outcomes in our class so that our students how to learn, how to manage, or what are the capabilities and the skills in their mind. Or we know also that what are the students capabilities, and also malalaman natin na what are the students na yung mga mahihina or yung average at yung mga matatalino. So Harold Bragg also emphasized social studies, how to communicate students and teaches in school or in a college curriculum concerned with the study of social relationships. So, si Harold Bragg ay hindi niya lang po ini-emphasize yung child-centered at yung mga objectives at mga outcomes sa ating curriculum. Siya rin po ay nagpapahalaga about sa social studies. Social studies like how to communicate the students, how to interact with the parents and the people in the community. Because if we cannot communicate the students or the families in outside of the campus, our school is cannot function well, or we cannot teach the students because the students may be afraid on us, shy to participate, and they think that they cannot get, or they are kind of close to the teacher, and they can because others teacher is very terror, like in our high school days we cannot anticipate, or we cannot ask question in our teacher because we afraid to ask because their face is very nakakatakot po. Then si Harold Bragg ay ito po ay isang he emphasized that social studies ay importante po talaga. Then Harold Bragg contribution created an influential social studies textbooks and series Man and His Changing Society. So, na-exchange niya po yung society and na-influence niya po yung ating mga professors in the different college. So na-experience natin itong kanyang mga gawa. So, I'm done in Harold Drag, how to explain how is work of his curriculum. So, I proceed to Hollis Caswell. Curriculum is organized around social functions of teams, organized knowledge, and learners' interests. So, defines individuals' interactions with their environment and ability to their rule within such environments as work and social activities. So, sa explanation ni Hollis Caswell, ang curriculum niyo po ay nag-function sa social functions and organized knowledge and learners' interests. So, when we are teaching the students, we must put an effort, or we must put interesting techniques and strategies how to interact or paano maipasok ng ating kaalaman sa kanilang utak on how to achieve yung ating mga sinasabi sa kanila, so that the learners can matuto or may interest sa ating mga sinasabi, because without efforts or other strategies, our students get bored or tired to hear our voice during in our class, because there are some other topics that they are hard to get what are the functions or what are the content of that topic. So we must know what are the capabilities and abilities of our student also, so that we can solution the problems and other circumstances that they experience. So it is important to discuss or become creative while discussing the topic to get the interest of the students. So like I said before, we must become a creative as a teacher, or to become a future teacher someday. So curriculum, instruction, and learning are interrelated. It must needed the curriculum and instruction have connected to the learners. So sa kay Hollis Caswell, ito po ay yung curriculum ay dapat yung ating mga estudyante ay naka-connect po talaga sa topic at sa teacher at sa ating instruction also, because if we cannot understand the question, our class cannot become successful in the end or during the class, because there are some other students na mahihina talaga at nakakainis minsan. Then so we must become yung dapat talaga natin i-implement ng maayos yung instruction, so that they can understand on how to answer the topics or how to get the instruction. Because being a student, being a student or become a future teacher, isa rin po ako sa mahirap paintindihan ng instruction at nalilito minsan at nami-misunderstand ng mga instruction. So dito pa lang sa instruction, we must teach the student how to understand the question or instruction, like the exam. Like in the exam, we must understand the question before we answering it. If we cannot understand the question or we cannot read properly, and the end we must get low score or become zero dahil hindi natin nakikita yon. So we must understand the question first before answering. Curriculum is a set of experience subject matter is developed around social functions and learners' interests. So sa theory ni Hollis Caswell ay there have a little similarities, or hindi naman sa little siguro. Meron din po itong malaking similarity sa kay John Dewey. The Dewey's theory of learning happens through experience. So tama naman po. We can develop our learners learning through experiences. Sorry. through role playing, like said before, from Harold Bragg, role playing, experiments in science, set an example or experience in life that relate in our topic. So before, there are some topic na kinakailangan talaga natin ng mga examples or kinakailangan talaga natin ng role playing or actions. So para makuha natin yung ating objectives sa ating topic. So itong curriculum ni Halis Caswell, ito po ay napakalaking tulong sa ating teaching, sa ating pagtuturo, because he organized the social functions, and instruction and learning are interrelated. It must needed the curriculum instruction. Then Halis Caswell emphasized the importance of practically developed curriculum, once developed cooperative by the teachers and administrators, once focused on integrating knowledge with the needs of individual and society. So, si Harold Caswell ay hindi lang po nakafocus yung kanyang study about sa curriculum, it can focus also in the administrators and teachers at sa mga nagtatrabaho din sa eskwelahan at yung mga needs na ating society. Dahil po sa ito, because of his study, ito po ay nakakatulong sa ating society at sa ating komunidad. At dyan po nagtatapos yung aking report.